Hi, everybody. Welcome to Live with Janome. I'm Ann Hine, embroidery software specialist for Janome America. And I'm just getting my comments up. So if you're out there, you can give a little thumbs up or say hello. And I'll put the screen on now. Let's see here. I can close this guy and open that. There we go. So welcome, everybody. It's Thursday. It's time for some artistic digitizer information and fun. And as I said, I'm Ann Hine, embroidery software specialist for Janome America. And today we're going to be talking about in the hoop zipper projects. So maybe I'm the queen of zipper pouches. I don't know. I did a whole series of these, and they're all on the Janome Artistic Digitizer Facebook page. And you can find some of them over on YouTube if you search my name as well. So you'll be able to see more of those. Today we're going to do one, and I'm going to show you really quick. I have it sitting over here so you can see it. We're going to do the one that's the circle. The other one, the rectangular one, that is really from the first lesson I did on Zipper Pouch 1. So you'll be able to find that in those videos. But I'm going to show you how to make the circle one because I think it's kind of fun. And, you can really make your zipper pouches really any shape that you want. So let me go back here and see what we have of people out there. And I do have comments on, I think we have a few people. All right. So to create one of the box, the pouches. I'm just going to show you this up close like this. Here we go. I'm going to hold it like that. You need to create first the area where your zipper is going to go. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you into the software. I'm going to show you how I create the zipper box to put it in, how to make these little zipper things on the sides here. These I call like zipper covers on the edges here to cover up the ends. And then how I did my little pull tab here. And this is actually some zipper ends that I usually save all the zipper ends that I come to. So it makes a nice little pull for your zipper there. And so you have a nice, now this one is not lined. All right, this is a very simple one. So you don't have to line all of them. And I'll show you when we're creating that one, what we're gonna do. I usually finish off my edges with the software with a little decorative stitch that looks kind of like that. So it gives it a bit of a surged edge, and then you just cut outside of that. It keeps your insides looking nice if you don't want to line it. Sometimes we don't want to add the lining. It takes a little bit of extra time to do that. So, all right. So what I'm going to do is start in the software first, and I'm going to explain the parts and show you how to do it. And then from there, we'll go to the machine and we'll stitch it out. I have it ready to go. I have the hoop ready, everything over there. So let me go to the software. I'm going to close this here and then go to the software. Let me open this. There we go. All right. So I'm going to go in here. First, I'm going to show you, I have it already made here. And I'm going to back out a little bit so you can see. It's in the RE20D hoop. I start with a 5-inch circle here. And then we're going to create this. This is the box where you put your zipper. And then this here will stitch your zipper in. And then on the ends here, this will do for your zipper tabs on there. So you'll lay your fabric down, it'll stitch it, and then you'll fold it back, and then it'll stitch it down over there. So here's the other one on the other side. Now I do everything in different colors so that the machine stops along the way for me. Once I have my zipper tabs in, I can start adding my fabric. So I will show you that. I'm going to lay the fabric over the zipper, right side down. It's going to stitch across right over here. Then I'll flip my fabric towards the top over here, and then it'll do a top stitch. I'll do the same on the other side, and then move my fabric down. It'll top stitch. And then here is where I'll stitch the little loop that goes on the side, my little zipper loop. Here's the finishing stitch on the inside, and then here's that decorative stitch on the outside. So, it's like 15 little parts, but it's not that hard to do. And so how many out there have done some zipper pouches? And how many have done some where you created them yourself? Do we have anybody out there that's done that? Let me open a new page. Now you noticed in the other one I had my hoop turned. So first I'm going to go get the other hoop, which is the RE20. And then when you have your hoop icon selected right up here, you can rotate your hoop 90. And the reason I rotated it 90 is because of the way I put the zipper going across here. If I put it this way, it would hit the outside edge of this and be outside of our hoop. So I wanted to make sure I kept it inside. So let's go back here. The first thing I want to do is create the, let me get this in the center, is to create that circle in the center. So I'm just going to hit shift and left click and drag my circle like that. I'm going to center it in the hoop. There we go. Well, I'm going to select it to turn off my tool. And then up here, I'm going to make it 5.0. And I'm working in inches. If you're working in metric, just put in 5.0 IN. There we go. I don't need this inside part, so I'm going to delete that down here in the used colors. I just need my outer part, so there it is. So the next thing I do is I create that zipper pouch. This box, this part here tells me how far out my fabrics need to land when I'm laying things in the hoop. So that's sort of like a kind of a placement or just a visual of where I have to make everything fit. So I'm going to go back to my shapes and I'm going to pick the rectangle and I'm just going to drag a rectangle across here. And my rectangle needs to be, let's look at the other one for a little hint. It has to be outside of that, of the circle. So I've made it 5.5 inches because I'm working with a 5-inch circle. And I've made the box 1 inch. Typically, your zippers are 1 inch. If you use some of the crafty zippers out there, they might be wider, so you can adjust to that. So let's select the box. We'll change the width to 5.5, and we'll change the height to 1 inch. So far, so good, not too hard. And I'm going to delete the inside again. And then I'm just going to make sure, see how my arrows, let's get in closer. My arrows don't quite meet in the center there. So I'm going to use my arrow key to, hang on one second, I'm going to select it and use my arrow key to move it back and up so that it's centered in the hoop there. You can align this other ways, but that's how I use it. I'm going to go to my colors and I'm going to change the color of that. Let's make that pink. So now we have 2 parts. I'm also going to turn on my sequence window so I can see all the parts as I go. I don't always create in the order I'm going to stitch, but today I'm going to do it that way. Sometimes I create my zipper box first and then I work from there. But I'm just going to show you each of the steps along the way. Maybe you'll decide to do it along this way too. So now I need to know my zipper is going to be laid in here and then I'll need to stitch it down. So I'll need 2 straight lines. And what I like to do is I like to go up to view and grid and turn my grid on. And then I like to, let's go back to view and I want to turn on snap. So let me get my tool started here and then I can go to view. Oh, well, let's see if I can get snap to show up here. If I select something and then I go to view, grid, there is snap. I want to turn snap on. What snap does for me is it gives me a nice straight line and it clicks right on the lines. So let's get in here close. This is the box the zipper is in between these 2 little pink parts, and that is a whole inch. So I do want to make a line about at a 1/4 inch from the edge of that, because that'll be a 1/4 inch to the edge of my zipper and the 1/4 inch here. So I'm going to back up a little bit. I'm going to go to my digitize outline shape. I'm going to click right on the line here, and I'm going to go all the way across like this till I get out here, and I'll left click, right click, and shape. Now that line really only has to be 5.5 inches or even 5 inches right to the edge of our piece. We don't need to overstitch it. So I'm going to go back and show you whenever you draw your line, select it again. And then up here, you can change the width of that line to 5.0. There we go. So now it goes right to the outer edge. This is the placement, the outer edge of everything. So I have the top one done, and I'm going to change the color of that. We're going to go down here. I'm going to use dark brown. And to get the other line, all I need to do is copy and paste. And then I'm going to use my click right on here and drag it down. It stays right in line. I could use my arrow keys to move it as well. Let's zoom in close so we can see where we're at with this. Let's see. There we go. It needs to come down just a little bit more. It needs to be right on the quarter. There we go. Let me click off of that and I'll back out, make that one green. Let's see. Well, first I want to select that one and make it green. There we go. So now I have this tack down lines for my zipper. So that'll hold it into place. And then from there, what I like to do is add what I call those zipper tabs, those little covers on the edges. So to create those, again, I'm just going to use my outline shape tool and I'm going to draw a line over here on the edge. And let's look back to see where I placed it. I think I placed it right at the 1 inch mark right here. So we'll go back in. This would be my mark that I want to go at. Here's 5, there's 1 inch. Here's the digitize outline shape tool. You're going to left click, right click, and shape. And you have that one in. And then you're going to come over here. Let's make it blue. And then I'm just going to copy, paste it again. And I'm just going to drag it to the other side. Let's go over there and set it right at the line here. There we go. So now what I would be doing is laying my fabric down. It's going to stitch my fabric. I'll flip my fabric over, and then I'll need to secure the fabric on the other side. So this one needs to be a different color. So we were at blue. We're going to use this purple. There we go. So now we have a the tack down, the stitch on here, and then I have one stitched over here. But if you noticed when I was working on the other one, I stitched it down and then I flipped it and then I had it tack out here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy paste this blue one. And then I'm going to change it to this pink color here. In my sequence window, I'm going to left click on it and slide it up 1. And then over here, I'm going to slide this out so that it sits just about out there. Just that'll hold that down in place. Let's see if that's where I was out here. I think I put it, let's see. Oh, yep, right at the edge. So I moved it right to the edge here. You can put it right on top of that one. That's fine. I'm going to go over to the other one, which is here. And I'll copy paste it. I'm one of those, if I don't have to keep recreating it, I'll just use my copy paste. So we did pink. Let's use this light orange. And again, we'll slide this over so it's right to the edge there. So that'll hold down what I call those zipper covers. All right, next up, we'll need to add our fabrics. So we'll need to add a fabric to the top and fold it this way, and on this one and fold it that way. Doesn't matter which one you use first or which one you do, but again, what you can do is go back up to your lines and you'll just need to select one. And I'm going to start with this top one. I'm going to copy and paste it. And when I copy and paste, what's nice is it lands at the bottom of my sequence list because that's where I want it. If I did duplicate, it would land right underneath the one that's up here. And sometimes I use duplicate and it'll be right in line, but we don't need it right in line. We need it at the bottom here. And I'll need to change the color of that one. So we're going to go down here. We'll use this deep red. So I'll be placing my fabric. It'll stitch the fabric down and then I can flip it up and I'll tape it way up here. So it'll be up out of the way. And now I need to do the one that's over here. So I'm going to select the green one. I'm going to copy and paste it. Down here, I'm going to go ahead and change the color of it. I'll use this bright green, and that'll hold down my lower fabric. That's funny, Cheryl. Oh my gosh. So it's a good sewing day. I was worried out there in the Pacific Northwest they were having that weird storm, but it didn't end up happening in Portland and Washington. I was worried about some of my family that's out that way. All right, so now we have all of our fabrics in and set to go. Now we need to add that little pull tab that I'm going to put on this side. And let's look again. I'll go back so we can see the position of that. Let's see. Oh, no, I forgot a spot. We need to top stitch our fabrics down. So let's go back and we'll do our top stitching. So I'm going to go up to the first one I did. I added my fabric, I folded it up this way, and now I want to top stitch it right along this edge. So I can take my brown one here or red one here, and this way I could duplicate it, and you can see now there's two of them here, but I'm going to make that second one a different color, and I'm going to go with this blue here. There we go. So we should have this one and then the blue one. Now I don't have to drag them in place. So that is the option. Remember I told you about whether you use copy, paste, or duplicate. So now I don't have to drag it up. It's already in line. I'll stitch the fabric down, I'll fold it up, and then it'll tack it in place. But I do need to move it over to the edge here. I don't want to tack it right here. I want to put it right here, just beyond, let me use my arrow key, just beyond the zipper box. And that blue one, I'm going to change, it's a top stitch. So I'm going to make the length of it a 3.0. So that, and I use metric for that, so 3.0 mm. There we go. And that one's all set. So now we can do the one that's here. I stitched it down, so now I need to top stitch it. So I'm going to do duplicate right here and change the color of that one. Let's see, we used ocean blue, we'll use this bright red. And then I'm going to move it down here, just beyond where the zipper box is. Let me make sure I kept those straight. This one probably. And then we're going to make it, it's an outline, so we're going to make the length of it 3.0 mm. We'll make it, and you can use a decorative stitch at this point. Hi, Brenda from Michigan. So it's really up to you. Let me see. I think I might need to move that just a little bit more. There we go. And I just like it a little bit outside of the zipper box. So I might move it back up just, if it'll go up just a little bit for me. I don't know if it'll go. There it is. And keep it centered as best I can. There we go. Everybody should be centered. Touch that blue one. Yep, we're pretty good. All right. So now we have all of our fabrics tacked down. Let me back out. Now we need to add our little tab on the side here, and then we'll add our back fabric and tack it down, and then we'll make that decorative stitch. So we're getting close. We're getting close. So when I lay my little tab here, I do like to stitch it down over here. Even though I know it's going to be stitched in, this keeps it from moving. So I'll need to make a little line right here. I could go up and use one of my lines from this side already, like that one. I could copy and paste it. It is at the end of my list, so that's where I need it, but I need to change the color of it. So we'll make it this, how about this salmon pink? And then I'm just going to move it to the left. Now I put my tab on the left side, and I'm going to put my zipper head on the left side as well. So I'll be, and I'll show you that before we go, when we get done here, I'll show you why I do that. In fact, let me just go ahead and flip over to here, and I'll show you. So I want to put my tab wherever I put, and I'm probably opposite on there. Wherever I'm going to put this tab up here, I want the head of my zipper, okay? Because that's where I want to go, like that, and hold it. You can put one at this end as well. That's up to you. You can do that. I only had enough zipper this time for this one, but you can do it both ways. So let me go back to our design, and we have that tab in there now, and I changed the color of it. So next we need to sew our back fabric down. I'm going to go back to that top circle again, and I'm going to copy paste it so it's at the bottom. I'll change the color of it to navy blue, and it needs to be about a 1/4 inch smaller than our 5-inch outer circle. So right up in here, I can put it at 4.75 and make this one 4.75. There we go. So that's going to be what stitches everything down. All right. And then I'll go back to the red one again, and I could select in the sequence window or just clicking over here, copy and paste that. I'm going to make that one up here. I'll make it black. And then that's the one that I want to make a decorative stitch. So I'm going to come in here to my decorative stitches. And the one I like, you can use any one you like. The one I like is, I think it's this one here, 41. Let's see what I picked over here. Oh, 42. So it's either 41 or 42. There we go. 40. There we go. And then you can change the width of your stitch so it makes a bigger bite here. So up here, if you want to put maybe 4.0 mm, you can see it makes a bigger bite in from the edge. So any zipper pouch that I make, let me take away the grid here so we can, whoops, the grid so we can see the design. Most of the time when I create a zipper pouch, a basic one like this, it could be any shape. Maybe I did one with that hippo design I had earlier. Like 2 years ago, I made this little hippo stuffy and then I turned it into a zipper pouch. You can use any shape. So you would start at the top with your shape, and then you would make your zipper box area. Now, sometimes I will save this zipper box as a basic zipper box. Then I have it for all my other projects, so I don't have to recreate it each time. But in the beginning, it's good to go through all the steps so that you have them in the order that you need. And I'm just going to go down them really quickly. Here we have the sort of like a placement for us. The placement of where the zipper is going to go, tacking the zipper down on either side. Then we're going to put our little fabric on the edge, and we're going to lay it down, stitch it, flip it back over, stitch it down, do the other side, lay it down, stitch it, flip it, stitch it to the outside. And actually, that is, wait a minute. Yes, that's right. And then we're going to set our fabric in. So we're going to lay our fabric down and stitch it. We're going to flip it up that way. And then we'll tack it, we'll top stitch it. We'll do the same down here. Lay the fabric, stitch it, push it this way, top stitch it. Then we're going to add our little loop or handle or whatever you want to call the little tab on the side. We're going to lay our backing fabric down and then stitch it down, and then right sides down, of course. And then we're going to do that finishing and take it out of the hoop. I would send this over to the machine at this point by using my drop down here, either by cable, by wireless, USB, however, it's already over there. If I want to save this, I would definitely come up here to File, and I would do Save As. And then I would save it in my, let's see, it's not March 20, but I know I have one here in my desktop. Let's see, where is it? March 27. And then up here, I would say, let's just call it C1 for today. And I'm going to save it first as a draw file in case I have to make any changes. And then if I'd like to save it as a JEF, I don't save very often as a JEF because I'm pretty much going right to the machine most of the time. But I would do File, Save As. I would change my design file down here to a JEF and then hit Save. Now, if you're on a PC, this is very close to a PC. Here you would have You would open your File Explorer and you'd have all your folders here. You would navigate to the folder you want. In that folder, you might have another folder. You would select it like I have here. You would name down at the bottom here is where you would give your name, and then pick your format and then save. Okay, so it's very similar. It looks different, but it's very similar to from a PC to a Mac, because I demo on the Mac. All right, so I'm going to go back here and get my camera on. Let's see here. Let's go back to me. And there we are. And I'm going to go over here to the machine and we'll stitch this up. So how are we doing on time? Ooh, we're doing pretty good. This is a pretty quick stitch. I'm going to move my comments over. There we go. Put them over here so I can see what's happening. All right, and on the screen of my machine, I do have, I'm going to just slide you over really quick so you can see. There's the design. It's about a 6-minute stitch out, but that, you have to do a little bit of work in the hoop. I hooped my stabilizer. I have a bobbin in under here. This is a mesh type stabilizer. And because it's very thin, I do have some pins going across here to help hold it from shrinking in, okay? Because it's a really thin stabilizer. You can use any stabilizer you like. So the first thing that's going to stitch is that outside circle. Let me get, and I have the lights turned off on my machine because they glare back at you. And I have my supplies here. I'm going to move them off to the side. Here we go. We'll hit start on this. I have my machine going about 700 stitches. I could go really fast if I wanted. There's where I need to make sure all my fabrics reach. And the next thing it's going to do is it's going to stitch my zipper box. Now, remember the view we had in the screen, it was rotated. So now it's not rotated. So we're going to do the zipper box. And once this stops, I'm going to trim those threads. All right, so that's where I'm going to place my zipper, right in there. And I'm going to use tape to tape it into place. Let's see if I can just, I'm not usually one fussy to cut those threads, but they were bothering me today. All right, so, oh, I have to think about this. Is this the end that has my extra thing? Hang on a second. I'm gonna poke through the design here for just a minute. Now that it turned, I have to think about where my zipper tab's gonna go. Oh God, my hand does not like, there we go. Okay, it's on the top. It is on the top, thank goodness. All right, let's go back to the part we need. All right, we're gonna put our zipper in. This is the top, so I need to lay it in here like this. Now, I like my zipper to be longer than the box so that this can be out of the way and this can be out of the way when I start. So I'm gonna line it up in there, and then I'm just gonna put a little bit of tape on the side here. And I got another one for over here. I will open my zipper at some point. You might need to yell at me to remind me. This is where the mistakes happen. All right, so this is going to tack my zipper down. It's going to do one side, and then I'll have to start it again to do the other side. And I do like this in 2 steps. Sometimes projects will do the second one right away, but I like it to stop and have a new color here, because then if I have an issue, something isn't straight, I can fix it right away. But you can make them the same color so that you don't have to have that extra stop in there. All right, so now what we need to do is I'm going to take this tape away since I don't need it. We're going to add those the zipper covers at the ends, but this is where I want to make sure I open my zipper because you're going to be sewing across the zipper here, and if your zipper is not open, you're going to have an issue and not be able to open it later. So I'm going to take my little fabric here, and I'm just going to lay it on. I made it pretty big, so I know it's going to cover. I can put it right at the edge of this placement line like that, and I could use a bit of tape to hold it down instead of keeping my fingers in there. There we go. It's going to stitch that down. All right, I'm going to take the tape off. I'll save that for the next piece. And then this gets flipped down this way. Hopefully I left enough this way. Ooh, just enough. Okay, I'm going to pull it down this way. And I'm just going to put a little tape here to hold it. There we go. There we are. Now it's going to go up to the other end. And I'm going to lay my other one down here. Now these are cut, I think these are like 1 inch by maybe 1.25 inches, something like that. My zipper is open. See, that's important. Remember that part. I'm just going to put tape right here and let it stitch that down. I think that's far enough. Yeah. There we go. Press it that way. Put your tape down. You guys are so quiet. This is really fun. I love this little circle one when I made it before. This is a great one to use as a gift or whatever. So now it's going to start where I need to put my fabrics on. And what I did is since this is like a 5-inch square, a 5-inch circle, I think I used like a 6 or 6.5 inch fabric. So I'm just going to take my fabric. This is like 3 by 6. I'm going to lay it along the zipper itself like that. And I'm going to make sure that it's outside this line here, so I know it will fit there. So we're going to put it there, and then I'm just going to put a little tape at this end and my other tape at that. And you can tape in the middle if you like this. Now, one of the things I'm going to watch for, and I might stop it and move it, is the zipper head is right here. Now, I don't know, sometimes the foot is going to bump into it, so I may stop it when it gets to right there. So we'll see. Let's see I'm going to put my needle down for a minute. And I'm going to move this zipper head just a little bit. There we go. I think it'll clear it, but just to be sure. Oops. All right, now it's going to do its top stitching, so you can remove your tape. Let's get this out of the way. You want to push it back, give it a little finger press. I used to have a big thing for watermelons, so I'm going through some of my old watermelon fabrics. And I know it reaches outside the line, so I'm good there. I'm just going to put a piece of tape here to hold this for the rest of the way, and it's going to do its top stitching now. This is where you could add a decorative stitch if you want. I'm just using a longer stitch length. All right, and now it's going to do the other side. So I will pull my zipper back a little to the middle to let it get going, and then I can stop it. All right, so I'm going to lay this fabric in there so it covers. I might need to borrow this tape for here. I don't know if I have, let me get another piece of tape. Oops. See, sometimes these tapes, they lose their sticky even though I use them a lot. Let's see here. All right. When I'm doing a lot of these projects, I have tape stuck all over my machine because I save all my little pieces as I go. There we go. That should hold that down nicely. And we'll stick this one in the middle just to hold that little section there. And we're going to stop it when it gets close because this is the wider part on that side. So that's where it could really bump. And I like to put my zipper down, my needle down. And I'm just going to reach under here and push the zipper up out of the way. There we go. Wait. What was that? Let me see. There we go. All right, this is where you're going to pull it back and finger press. Like that. There we go. Put a bit of tape at the top here just to hold that. And do our top stitching. And let's see. See how close it comes to that? You have to kind of move it. I think I'd like a narrower embroidery foot. All right. Now the next thing we're going to do is our the little tab thing. I'm going to show you how I made that. Here's the one I have ready to go. And what I do is I take my zipper ends. Whenever I have zipper ends, I save all these little zipper ends. You see that? And I cut this part off on the far end. So put that over there. And then I'll fold it in half. This one might just be long enough. We'll see. And then I lay them back on top of each other like this. Now you can go ahead, sometimes I'll make a bunch of them and I'll use decorative stitches in here, and then sometimes I don't. And then if I don't stitch them, I will put a piece of double-sided tape in there to hold it, or you could do a little bit of fabric glue if you want. And then you're just going to fold it in half. This is a kind of tiny one. It's going to be fussy. There we go. You're going to fold it in half like that, and then you get your piece. These are really fun. All right, so I'm going to set away the other one. This one has to go over here, and it's going to, let's move this out of the way a little bit. It's going to sit right here. Now the edge of my piece, I think, is right about, I can see where it's going to stitch. So I want to keep that out just a little bit, maybe lined up a little bit with the zipper cover there. And then this is the one where you need to tape this because it's bulky and you don't want it moving. You don't want to have to, quickly put your hand down there to fix something because, that's when an accident happens and we don't want accidents. I'm going to line it back up like that. Get a bigger piece of tape. Like this. And I don't care if I stitch the tape. I'd rather hold it down than have something happen. I think I've got it straight. It's hard because I have the camera like between me and the machine. So I have to keep my arms around it. There we go. We might be a little bit crooked here on this side. All right, let's see. We're ready to go. Here we go. All right, here it is. Now this is thick, so we'll see. There we go. It's going to be stitched again when we go around and finish it. So I'm going to leave this on here. I can take that back one off if I want. Now I'm just doing the last part. Now I did press my fabrics and use a little bit of best press on them too. So I'm just going to lay this down. I want to make sure that it is coming all the way over where that circle is under there. I think we've got it. At this point, this is important. Your zipper needs to definitely be open. And then you can lay this on here, add a bit of tape to your corners so that it stays down. You don't have to keep touching it too much. Put a little bit on this side. And then, I know, aren't these, I mean, you could make a bunch of these. You know, we do have Easter, we have Mother's Day coming up. These would make, and even teacher gifts. These would make some great little teacher gifts. I mean, this takes 2 6-inch pieces of fabric and a zipper. And, you know, some of us have, you know, you can use any kind of zippers. All right, here we go with our finishing. It's going to first do the straight stitch all the way around to secure the fabric. And I'm going to stop my machine. When it came off of this high spot, you could see how high it was over the fabric. So once you come off of something high, if you reset your machine, see it'll come down low. We'll watch for that again when it gets around the other side. It auto adjusted there. So when it gets here, it's going to come up high. And then when I start the next one, you'll see it. I'm going to start and stop the machine so you guys can see it. So it's going to start stitching. See how high it was when it came off of there? So I want to stop it and make sure it comes down low again. That's that auto adjusting so that it can go over high things. So once this is done, I will trim it, take it out of the hoop, trim it all up, and turn it through the zipper. And I'm just going to show you that. I'm not going to trim it, but I'm going to show you where you would open it through. That's why you have to leave that zipper open. And I'm going to start taking some of these out because we'll be taking it out of the hoop in a minute. All right. So it's done. So this is where you want to open it up to open it through the zipper. So what you would do is take your scissors in here carefully. And just trim to the edges like this. And then I would trim all the way around the outside, and then I would turn it right through my zipper. So let me just open this up a little bit more and I'll show you. I'm not gonna trim it because it just takes a little bit of time. But see, I would just turn it right through here. There's the tab, gonna be right there. So everything will come through. Let me show you on this one. All right, so what you would have all trimmed up, it would look like this, right? And then you would just open it. And pretty much since we did this little, I didn't even do any clipping on here. I just cut it close to those stitches, and that's enough to keep that fabric to make it nice and round. And just turn it. And then once you get it turned out, you can give it a little press if you want. And there you have it, a little circle purse. This one will be done in a little bit. I'll trim this up, and maybe I can post a picture of that once I get it done. All right, let me go back to the other camera, and I can say my goodbyes for today. And let me see what's happening here. Get the right camera angle. There we go. All right, so hopefully you like that little project. I can't wait to get this one trimmed up. I love this little watermelon print. It's going to be really cute. Maybe I can hang it off one of my purses or wallets. But go ahead and give this a try. It's really easy. You don't have to do a circle. You could do a square. You could do a triangle. Really any shape that you want. Maybe an oval. Maybe an Easter egg. How about that? An Easter egg would be cute. But these would make great, I was just thinking about that, great mom gifts or great teacher gifts as we get near the end of the year. You can add other embroidery to them as well. If you don't want to just do fabric, you can do embroidery on them as well. So lots of things to do with just one simple project. Hope you all enjoyed that, and I will see you again. I'll be back next week. Is that April already? How did that happen? I don't know. But I look forward to seeing you again in my studio. Thanks for meeting with me today. Bye for now.